We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Finally, Jaron Boots Ennis exposes what the game plan is for a potential Vergil Ortiz fight. Do you want to see it? Do you not want to see it? I got the details right now. A brand new interview we're going to take a listen to and hear it from Boots himself. And of course, I will give you guys the Ego thoughts. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. And I'm back with some more boxing. Come in, subscribe to the channel. You know, I got that voodoo. Boots was on Ariel Helwani's show, and one of the topics was a potential Vergil Ortiz fight. It's been a lot of back and forth between the two, let's be real, since 147. They both were at 47, never fought each other. Now they're both at 54. Jaron is more fresh up there, like he just moved up. Vergil's been up there, got a dangerous fight. So let's take a listen to what he had to say about a possible matching between those two. Roll the clip.
Okay, going back to you, I've talked to now Eddie and Oscar about this meeting with DAZN and everyone where they talked about you versus Vergil. And essentially what was said, and I want to get your take on it now, that, hey, we're going to do this fight a couple weeks ago, the one that you won. You're going to do your fight. And if everything goes well, these two guys are going to fight each other in 2026. That's the agreement. What Eddie said was they went back to you, you signed. You said you were in.
I signed like that.
In. No problems, no questions, nothing.
Nope.
They went back to Vergil. This is what he said. And they were like, we're going to do our fight and then we're going to revisit this. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. You know, that's understandable though. You know, you gotta stay on task of what's in front of you. You know, and not overlooking nobody.
But you agreed before your fight.
Yeah, I did, but I still.
Okay, what is going on with Eddie Hearn and Jaron Boots Ennis, where they keep saying that they have contracts for these big fights, like would probably be the biggest fight or most anticipated Boots fight. Guys like Brian Norman, guys like Vergil Ortiz, and everything is done on their part, but they're sending it to a person who has an upcoming fight. Hold on. I know the Boots fans, the bootstraps. That, yeah. I just thought of that on the spot. I'm hilarious. We're going to call them that. So the bootstraps, the diehard Boots fans, they're going to be like, yo, Ego, right? The bootstrap boxing fans, they're going to act like what I'm saying is foreign. Like it don't make sense when you know it does. You know I speak the truth, right? What I'm talking about is Brian Norman was supposed to fight Jin Sasaki. Contracted, plane tickets. It was a done deal. His promoter put together. Out of nowhere, Eddie Hearn and Boots, these reports came out in interviews like, oh, we offered the Brian Norman to fight, but he must take it before the Jin Sasaki fight. And there's like this like pressure to sign right now. Sign up right now. He hasn't got past Jin Sasaki. Then now, fast forward to the future at 54, the same thing applies. I just let you listen to it. Boots says, I signed my portion of the contract, ready to go. But we reached out to Vergil Ortiz's team and they said, yo, it don't work like that. We are fighting Erickson Lubin and then we'll holla at you, which is exactly what Brian Norman said to Boots. Now, mind you, when Brian Norman did it, there were fans who they were saying and suggesting that Brian Norman ducked Jaron Boots Ennis because why didn't he just take the fight despite not having got through his upcoming opponent, Jin Sasaki. And then now, fast forward to the future, we find Team Ennis, we'll just call it Team Boots, Team Ennis, doing the same thing. A fighter has a announced fight. For Brian Norman again, it was Sasaki. For Vergil Ortiz, an Erickson Lubin. You will proceed to hear Boots say, oh, it's understandable. He has an upcoming fight. I signed my portion, but they don't want to sign until they handle business with Lubin first. Then they'll discuss it. How many times, like, if you go to a stove, touch it, and you burn yourself, you're not going to come back to the same stove. You see the same red coils indicating that it's on and it's hot because it's an electric stove. And then you and do it again. Like, who does that? I don't have any compassion, any respect for people who don't learn from their mistakes. You tried it with Brian Norman. Brian Norman says, we're not on your timeline. We'll turn down whatever you're offering because we're not going to conform when we have an opponent in front of us. It makes no sense. So now the Bootstrap fans look very dumb. They look very dumb because they claimed that Brian Norman was a duck because he had a Jin Sasaki fight and said he was not discussing or signing any contract prior to beating him, which your boy Ego, the best in the business, and is definitely not close. I told you from the beginning, that is boxing. I have no problem with a fighter who refuses when he has a contracted fight that he must get through. You shouldn't be discussing and or publicly announcing what's next when you haven't even cleared. Especially now, I was confident Brian Norman would beat Jin Sasaki, but you'll hear Boots say that the Lubin fight is 50-50. So what type of business is Eddie Hearn and Team Boots? What kind of business are they running when they keep approaching people with fighters and putting it out that we signed? That's irrelevant. It does not matter if you've signed, if your opposition hasn't signed or refuses to sign, contingent on them winning, which again makes all the sense in the world. Why would you, if you haven't graduated 6th grade, why would you be talking about 8th grade graduation? And you might not even be able to pass 6th grade. You might get held back. Doesn't make any sense. Order of operations, people. So it's looking weird for how Boots' team has been moving. This is coming from a Boots fan in me, but I call a spade, and I got to keep it real. It don't make no sense to keep doing business before other business has been situated.
Said, and I want to get your take on it now, that, hey, we're going to do this fight a couple of weeks ago, the one that you won. You're going to do your fight. And if everything goes well, these two guys are going to fight each other in 2026. That's the agreement. What Eddie said was they went back to you, you signed. You said you were in.
I signed like that.
In. No problems, no questions, nothing.
Nope.
They went back to Vergil. This is what he said. And they were like, we're going to do our fight and then we're going to revisit this. Is that what you're hearing as well?
That's what I heard as well. You know, that's understandable though. You know, you gotta stay on task of what's in front of you, you know, and not overlooking nobody.
But you agreed before your fight.
Yeah, I did, but yeah. I still was locked in on Lima. You know, even when people was asking me about the Ortiz situation, I wouldn't even say nothing about it. I'll be like, October 11th, we focusing on Lima, and that's it. You know, that's our main focus right now. I said, after I'm victorious, he said, and I was like, then we could talk about these other guys and Ortiz and things like that. And so I stayed focused on task in hand, even though I signed before, but I stayed focused on task in hand, and yeah, and now we here, you know, just here waiting.
If you had the pick of the litter, is he at the top of the list? Is he the top guy
for sure?
You want? Why?
It's too much going back and forth, a lot of talking, and I I can't wait. You know, they gonna see. I ain't even gonna say too much. They gonna see.
Is it personal between you two?
No, it's not personal, but it's just I see all the little talking that they've been doing. You know, and like I said, let him get through this is his fight. You know, and we'll see. Take it from there. But
Will you go to his fight?
Oh.
So for me, it kind of sounds like Boots. The perception, we'll say that. The perception from boxing fans is that he could have ducked how the Vergil Ortiz fight played out last time, right? The perception is that could be a duck. I don't even care to give my opinion because it's irrelevant. But a lot of people feel he ducked because he could have moved to 54, stayed at 47, said he made the weight easy after the Karen Chukadzian rematch. He said he should have been moved to 54. It was like he was all over the place. He was trying to respond back to people like me who questioned him staying at 147, saying he was weight drained. But then now he's saying, oh, I feel so much better at 154, right? I feel so much better and I needed this for my body and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then why did you deny when people like myself were saying you look drained and that weight cut was kicking your butt? You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of that? So there was this moment in Boots' recent career where he was kind of all over the place. Like, he said he made 47 easy. Then after the Karen fight, he's like, man, maybe it's time to move up. Then you could have fought Vergil Ortiz. You would have to move up. The report said you offered Vergil a fight at 47, knowing Vergil can't make no 47 at this point, and he was trying to fight you at 54. Turkey said he was invested in the fight happening, and then like people said you ducked Vergil Ortiz. Whether you believe it or not, that's what people. So now it seems like Boots and team, they're like, oh, I signed my portion. They're like almost like trying to rectify the damage that was done, and then you didn't move to 54. Stayed to unify with Stanionis, said you wanted to stay at 47 until you became undisputed, and then right after a great performance with Stanionis, you say, I'm moving up. And you did it a day before Brian Norman was set to fight Jin Sasaki, who allegedly you had an offer to fight him. It's like, bro, if you look at this chronologically, it is all over the place for Jaron Boots Ennis. I don't care what no one says. That's what I've seen. If you wanted to fight Brian Norman so bad, what's up with you saying the doctor said you have to move up because you're not competing at your prime, you're not competing at your full percentage, or you're hurting yourself basically. So how are you going to fight Brian Norman at 47? And then to add, Devin Haney said he was down to fight Boots before Brian Norman at 47, but Boots' team wanted to catch weight. So that kind of corroborates the story that you got to a point after Stanionis where you're like, I got to move up. So no matter how you slice it, it looks bad because it's all over the place. You've been big for welterweight from the beginning, which is what I said. You try to combat people like myself who question how you're cutting weight and if it was time to move up. You know, oh, these people, these YouTubers, they don't know what they're talking about. I was eating good and my nutritionist, we made weight easy. But then your face looking like Michael Jackson Thriller. Don't, you know what I mean? It's close to midnight. So it's like, what was the point of arguing with podcasters and YouTubers about if you can make weight clean and easy if we knew you were struggling, and then only to find out you really were having difficulty making weight? Here's what he recently said in the same Ariel Helwani interview about moving up to 54. Tell me this is not all over the place. Bro, I've told you I'm exposing everything in this game.
I had a bunch of energy. I could have sparred all the way up till fight day. Like,
wow. Okay. Now, as far as the camp goes, as a 154 pounder, how different was it? How much did you feel better?
Camp was 10 times better.
Really?
You know, I could eat a little more. I felt way stronger throughout the whole camp, even during like fight week. You know how sometimes on fight week when you cutting weight, some fighters can they understand what I'm saying. Like when you at 147, and I was like coming up and cutting weight and stuff like that. During fight week, you get those times and points where you don't want to do anything, like your last training day or like during fight week, you just don't want to do nothing. You just be on some lazy stuff. You just ready to get it over it. But me moving to 154 and this training camp that I had a phenomenal training camp. But the last week of training camp, I feel like I had a bunch of energy. I could have sparred all the way up till fight day. Like I just like real like energized and things like that. So I felt great, having a 154 camp, and I'm glad I think I did the right thing at the right time. I feel great, feel tremendous.
Bro, that's it. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. I've been telling you, Boots tried to have some pushback. He tried to push back to people like me who are saying that, bro, you big for the division. It's not a diss, is what it is, right? And he tried to combat it. And now the truth comes out, and Boxingego, I've been vindicated. He just told you. Man, when I was at 47, it got to a point where, sometimes on fight week, you felt lethargic, you feel on some lazy stuff, and you really didn't want to do nothing because you on fight week, because you are feeling miserable, because your body is shutting down, because you are dehydrated, you are flattened out, you are devoid of certain minerals and nutrition. You're like, oh, fighters know what I'm talking about. Yes, especially fighters who are too big for the division that they're fighting in, and they languish and stay there too long. So I don't want to hear nothing else. Boxingego was right. All you suckers in the comment section was like, oh, you hating on Boots. He makes 147. I didn't say he's a professional. He need to make the fight. He's making millions of dollars. You need to make the weight. I didn't say he was going to miss weight. I said I was looking at him, and he was looking gaunt. He was looking weathered, and I could tell that it was a tremendous weight cut, not in a good way. Like, you were looking like more frail than you should. So to move up would benefit you. I said this from the beginning. If you remember Boxingego, me saying this, type I remember in the comment section. I was preaching this, right? I was preaching this. And people were like, oh, you're hating on Boots and da-da-da-da. My job don't consist of hating on anybody. I just tell the truth as I see it. And I told you Boots was big for a welterweight. Now the truth comes out. He's like, man, I felt 10 times better. Why did he feel 10 times better? Because he just told you, I got to eat a little bit more. I felt energized and felt better. And I felt I could keep sparring up until the fight day. There's a reason for it. You got to listen to your body. There's a reason you felt better, because it's less of a weight cut. You're getting older. You're getting close to 30, which is the exact age where I said, once it gets to 30, you're not going to be able to keep doing this, bro. Your body is more forgiving, more pliable when you're younger. I said all of this. The content is still up. The content is up, people, right? But the reason why I gotta drag this out is because Boots specifically was out there trying to combat the hearsay and make it look like YouTubers or people who are saying that his weight and looking and paying attention to his weight and his face and, looking at that stuff. He was out here acting like we was cap and we didn't know what we was talking about. He literally was saying that. That's Boots was saying that. Now the truth comes out and we find out that 54 is a better fit because you're a growing lad, you're a growing man, and you were always big for welterweight. So that's why you felt 10 times better, way stronger. You had energy to last because you did your body a service. So I'm done talking about it. I was right. Any Boots fan that said otherwise was wrong. Back to it. So these are the inconsistencies with Boots' career. I don't care what y'all talking about. I've outlined my case. I got all the breadcrumbs and the content up. This is why we're talking about it. So you can check my old stuff. It's consistent. Notice my message is consistent. Boots' message is not always been an easy, straight path. 1 minute he's like, I want to be undisputed at 47. What happened to that goal? Now you just moved up. You said you want to fight Brian Norman, but then the day before he moves up, or the day before he fights Sasaki, which he violently knocked out in one of the best knockouts of this year, right? Then that would have made the fight with y'all bigger. Now you're like, oh, I'm at 54. see me when you see me. That's why the Boots brand has diminished. And now he's doing this run with a lot of white media, and he's trying to clear the air. And not just white media, but not even white media that be in boxing like that. Like Barstool Sports he was on, and Ariel Helwani. Like, you're not even talking to like the diehard boxing people. You see what I'm saying? So again, Boots is a terrific fighter. I still support him. I'm always going to call out fighters or situations, no matter what, when it's the truth. You know what I mean? So hopefully the Vergil fight happens, but all this, like, I signed, what is the point? Like, somebody tell me in the comments, what is the point of saying I signed my portion of the contract when the other person tells you up front, hey, I got an important fight with a dangerous Erickson Lubin, so I'm not signing anything. So who cares if, one half of the factions needed signs? Like, what does that even mean? That's like, you want to marry a girl, but she was like, I don't want to marry you. I'm not ready for commitment. So that's not a marriage. Like, you want to marry the broad, but then she has other plans or whatever. So it's like, a marriage has to be a partnership. Both people are on board to exchange vows and do this thing. So why, again, it looked like damage control from Boots. Why are you talking about, I signed my portion? So you signed your portion before Lima, which makes not a hill of beans. It's not worth a hill of beans when your opponent tells you, him and his team tell you straight up, let's revisit this after I fight my contracted fight that everyone knows about, that they already have a press conference. Erickson Lubin's doing interviews. I've done some interview, blah, blah, blah. So this is just backwards business. This is not how you run business. Like, you the horse before the carriage type thing. You know what I mean? I don't understand it, but let's keep going.
And like I said, Lord, let him get through this is his fight, and we'll see, take it from there. But
Will you go to his fight?
Oh, hopefully we try and see now. I'm gonna talk to Eddie and them actually when I leave here and see what we're gonna do.
Even that's weird. Why is it hopefully? You're from Philly, he's fighting in Texas. That's not that far apart. You got some money. You know what I mean? I'm sure Golden Boy will comp you tickets. Why is that even like almost a trick question? Like, do you have plans? Do you have something else going on? Like, he's like, will you go to Vergil Ortiz fight? Hopefully. I'm gonna talk to Eddie. What are you talking to Eddie? That ain't his show. It's a Golden Boy show. Don't you got to talk to Oscar or Eric Gomez, one of them of?
Yo, you sitting in the front row there would be something.
Yeah, if I don't go, I'm gonna watch it. But if I do go, I'm be there locked in watching it as well. So, and hopefully, I'm getting I'll be able to get in the ring, and whoever win, I'll fight the winner or the champions. But hopefully it's Ortiz.
You want him to win, obviously.
Definitely.
That's the way. I mean, gigantic fight.
Yeah, I definitely want him to win, but you can't overlook Lubin.
Sure.
He's a crafty guy. He been around for a while. He fought Charlo, he fought Ramos, and he fought a couple top guys. So you can't overlook him. And it's not like he's a bad fighter or anything. He's sharp. He's crafty. It's not the guy you can just overlook. So I think it's a 50-50 fight. For me, or 60-40, maybe. Maybe leaning more towards Ortiz.
What?
You done effed up. You said Ortiz, Lubin, 50-50, 60-40. You done fucked up. You done fucked up, right? Bro, this is what I'm talking about. Listen, the man said it's a close fight. You can't overlook a guy like Lubin. He's crafty. He front everybody. He said fought crazy. That's that Philly. Man, he front everybody like Charlo, and he sound like Cassidy. Bro, he fought everybody from Charlo to, I don't know. He fought them all. The boy fought Fundura. He was in there with Sebastian Fundura. Man, Philly, I catch a body. All right, I'll stop. So, he done effed up. I got to be the greatest. I got to be the best in the business, and it's not even close. The man just said it was a 50-50 fight. maybe 60-40 leaning towards Vergil Ortiz. Either way, that indicates an extremely close fight. He just said you can't overlook a guy like Lubin who's experienced, southpaw, crafty, right? This is what he just said. So why would you send a man a contract if it's a 50-50 fight that you're saying he definitely could lose? Because Lubin is, and I don't disagree with, for the record, I don't disagree with what he just said there. I don't disagree. I'm glad Lubin is getting credit because I think he slept on, right? He fought Jesus Ramos, Fundora, he fought Charlo. He did some crazy stuff with Jorge Cota where he dropped down, he dropped down and then popped up and knocked him out. That was crazy, right? So he hurt Berlanga and dropped him in sparring. So Lubin can scrap. I agree. Anybody saying it's a 50-50 fight or a close fight or don't sleep on Lubin, I'm with that. So I'm not even mad at that. I agree with that. However, that's precisely, back to what I was saying earlier in the video, that's precisely why you don't have contracts public and go out like, oh, I signed my portion, if you don't even know if Vergil's going to get past Lubin. Bro, this is what I'm talking about. Boots, he needed to pay me, you know what I mean, to be some PR or something. I have you looking right. Pause. Bro, these fighters need PR. Like, it was not making sense. You're admitting that Lubin is a tough cookie for Ortiz and it's a close fight that Lubin has a chance to win. So why would you publicly be like, oh, I signed my portion of the contract? You were fighting Lima. We knew you was going to cook him. But Vergil Ortiz, again, he's fighting back-to-back guys that have an opportunity. I thought Boachuk beat him, to be honest. Then the Madrimov fight was a good name that gave Crawford issues. And then now he's fighting Lubin. So he's fighting a tougher schedule. Make no mistake about it. You know what I mean? And some people are going to be like, oh, that's because he's been at 54 longer. I don't care. Because guess what? Those three names, for me, those three names at 54 are still better than anyone he fought at 47. So even if you want to compare, I feel like the Boachuk, Madrimov with one Crawford loss and Lubin with like 2 losses, Charlo and Fundora, that's a better run of fighters than anybody Boots has fought in his career to this point. That's what I see. You know what I mean? So, yeah, in that, you got to treat that as a delicate situation. You got to make sure that they make it through that before you start advertising the net. We just seen this with Ryan. Ryan and Devin, they're going to fight in October. Well, guess what? It's October, muff. Have you heard about Devin fighting Ryan? Oh, that's right. Ryan got dropped and lost every round dang near to Rolly. That's why you don't do this. I'm telling you, it's bad business. If it's good business, I'll give it credit. If it's bad business, I'm going to tell you that.
You know, he's crafty. You know, it's not the guy you can just overlook. So I think it's a 50-50 fight, you know, for me, or 60-40, maybe, you know, maybe leaning more towards Ortiz.
Wow, that close, huh?
Yeah, damn. It's a good fight.
Why Ariel Helwani? Bro, he don't know boxing. I don't care what nobody thinks. He don't really know boxing. He might be a good dude, but he don't know boxing, bro. He's like, wow, that close? Like, why is that surprising, bro? Like, if you know boxing, first of all, I just told you, Vergil Ortiz had a tough schedule. Madrimov, Boachuk, he got hurt in at least one of those fights. Boachuk for sure. Got dropped in the Boachuk twice. You know what I mean? He got hurt by Mean Machine. Why is that surprising to you if you know boxing? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it's a good fight for boxing. And I like it. You know, like I said, you know, I'm be there. If I go, you know, I'm be there. You know, watching and keep my eyes on both of them.
The man said, if I go, and he admitted it's a good fight for boxing. Now, again, I agree it is a good fight for boxing, but I also feel in closing that kind of makes Boots look bad because you're admitting that your op has a great, tough fight. You're admitting that on camera, on a syndicated show. You're admitting that your op has a great fight that's a 50-50, maybe 60-40 type of fight, and both guys have a chance there. And then for your coming out party to 54, you fought Lima Beans and cooked him in 1 round, which was an abysmal fight where it was devoid of any level of competition. So you and Eddie Hearn is fighting Lima, who had no business in their top level at all. Anybody like Fundora, whoever probably would have cooked him. I don't know if they would have did in the first round, but they probably would have cooked him. You know what I mean? Experience matters. He didn't have what it takes, in my opinion, right? So while you sitting up here fighting that and signed your portion, you fighting lima beans. Vergil is on his 3rd very highly ranked, good contender, whatever level person, you know, just below champion, because they're not champions, quality fighters in Lubin. So I also feel like that kind of makes it look bad. And see, again, I'm only being real. I don't beat around the bush. I keep it real. I like Boots. I don't care if you believe me. I don't care if you don't. But I hold everybody to a standard. And more so recently, like notice when Boots was with Espinoza and fighting on PBC cards, none of this stuff existed. He didn't look bad. He was just like climbing through the rankings. They were developing him. He got with Eddie Hearn. Okay, you get more money per capita per fight, but then now people are associating Duck with your name. That never happened when you were with Espinoza. You know what I mean? So I would be a liar to not call out these inconsistencies when I do it for every fighter if they show up. You know what I mean? So that's it. I hope they fight, but Lubin is not no pushover. So Vergil got to get past that. So I've been in boxing too long. That's why you don't see my emotions really change, because I've been here. I've been in this sport so long that it like hardens you. You know what I mean? You learn to expect the unexpected. You learn to cross your T's and dot your I's. You learn to look at the devil in the details, right? You learn that you can't overlook people. The moment you overlook people, you might get cooked. The moment you hesitate, you might get cooked. These are like, if you could write a boxing 10 commandments, they would have lessons like this. Don't underestimate your opponent. If you hurt your opponent, be cautious, because a wounded animal could be the most dangerous. Like Marquez versus Pacquiao in the 4th fight, right? These are like age-old boxing adages or whatever. So we'll see what's next, but I'm not going to get too excited about Boots and Vergil Ortiz, because it don't mean nothing. Who cares if Boots is allegedly signed? Because even if Vergil Ortiz wins, he said, let's revisit it. Like, he could be like, oh, I only want to fight champions. I want to fight Xander Zayas or Fundora. I want to fight a big money fight like Jermell Charlo. A Charlo fight, to me, in Texas, they're both from Texas. A Texas Charlo fight is bigger than a Boots fight, in my opinion, because you have stadiums in Texas you could put that at, and it's all Texas both ways. Charlo got a Texas, he's from Texas. Ortiz from Texas. So politics and stuff like that, I'm not gonna get all excited like some of y'all boxing fans. Oh yeah, they about to fight 2026. We'll see. But I'm not convinced, and I think there's been some misnomers in Boots' recent career. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.